Hello guys, my name is Anna and I'm from Ukraine, and I have decided to vlog daily since the start of this awful full-scale Russian invasion of my beautiful country Ukraine. On my channel you can find various videos about our real-life situations, about our history, culture, language and other things that I try to make interesting and useful to you. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe because the world needs to know more about Ukraine. And today's video is going to be very much of a vlog where I talk about myself a lot. I know that sometimes you like it. Honestly, I consider myself to a certain extent lucky because I live in a semi-dangerous zone from which I can address you daily. Of course, we experience losses and tragedies of this war daily because our friends, our loved ones, our family members are fighting on the front lines. There are lots of things that we have to live in a different way. We had electricity outages, we have switched our life and economy into this military format, but sometimes I feel like I am able to continue working, to continue talking, buying myself clothes and drinking coffee. Thank you for buying me coffees. But at the same time, I don't even realize how much our life has changed and how much it is influenced by war. As after 1 year, you get used to many things that for an ordinary, normal citizen of another country will seem totally absurd. So sometimes, like I am in between. From one point of view, I realize that I am lucky to be able to communicate with you and to stay in my house during this challenging time for many Ukrainians. From the other point of view, when many of you imagine yourselves living in my place, perhaps you would not feel very comfortable, and I don't wish any of you to experience war. By the way, I'm super grateful to those friends of my channel who come from countries that experienced war and who share their stories of strength and their stories of victory to inspire Ukrainians. So today I had a weird night experience that I want to share with you. Also, I have decided to sleep long. I woke up at 10 in the morning. Actually, I'm a person who loves sleeping and I consider sleep very important for normal life. So I have decided that not sleeping properly at night, I have to sleep longer in the morning. And I feel okay about that, about treating myself gently. So, what happened this night? We had an air raid alarm approximately at 4 or like 4:30 a.m. And I always feel extremely worried when we have this night air raids because Russian soldiers, Russian orcs, I cannot name them, normally they like hurting people when they are vulnerable. They repeat the tactics of Nazi Germany and other demons that typically appear before dawn. That's what they do. So traditionally, when we receive signals at this time of the day, we know it is not just a training plane somewhere in Belarus. Most likely these are missiles targeted on Ukrainian cities. But living in a semi-safe zone where we do not get lots of explosions, I decided to continue sleeping. And then approximately at 5 in the morning, I have heard like a lot of fighter jets flying, and when they fly really low, the sound is like, it's not awakening, it will like awake you from I don't know what kind of sleep, but this is a sound that I have never heard before the war, because even if we had some trainings, these were like one plane flying or a small jet or something, and here you have like a huge amount of them flying above you. And you're like in your pajama in the darkness, and you are thinking, what is going to happen? From one point of view, I believe that like here close to EU borders, we do not have Russian planes, Russian jets, and it's really difficult for them to get here because they are likely to be stopped. But at the same time, you have air raid alarm, and you know that like you have to be super careful in that time. I didn't feel like running to a shelter, bomb shelter, which is in my case the closest one is the theater, And I don't have these positive associations with bomb shelters in theaters. Remember what happened in Mariupol? So I prefer to stay at home, following the rule of two walls somewhere in the corridor. But I was waiting like for a couple of minutes, and I realized that perhaps these were our jets, which is more likely in this part of Ukraine. Plus, I did not hear any explosions, so perhaps everything went right. And then I was thinking about other cities. I googled. I know that 15 missiles out of 18 were stopped by Ukrainian air defense. And honestly, guys, we desperately need means to protect our skies. And in general, like Ukrainian defense was successful this night, but I know that many of my friends in Kyiv and in other cities did not manage to sleep normally. Many of them had to go with their small children, with their terrified parents, to bomb shelters. And imagine, like, in the morning you have to continue normal living because it's vital, and I'm 100% for that. I'm going like to paint my lips and my nails, and I'm going to the classes, and I'm going to buy myself coffee and order a new t-shirt, because it is important to preserve normality so that we win. We are not a total ruin of infrastructure and of human lives. We have to save our strengths. And then I realized that in my daily life, that seems to me very normal in contrast to other regions of Ukraine, I have lots of signs of war that I've got used to. And if I tell you about them, you will feel like bad and sad. And it is not like I'm trying to make others feel sorry for us. It is just what life is for Ukraine right now. War is present everywhere, and it interferes, and it changes your life, it changes your priorities, it changes your work routine and other things. And honestly, when I'm sometimes invited to various events that will take place in half a year or 3 months ahead, I feel jealous in this positive side that you guys can plan your summer, your birthday party. We cannot. Of course, these are minor problems, taking into account that cities are erased, families are killed. But at the same time, this all shows how abnormal, even normal, living in Ukraine is. But I follow the advice of many smart people who say, when you have this opportunity, you have to be gentle to yourself. So that's what I did, and I slept till 10 a.m. Then I woke up, we have sun, and I have a terrace in my apartment, so I was able to drink coffee, watching the sun, and feelings that spring is coming. By the way, for a long period of time in Ukraine, because of these changes in climate, we had like very unusual for Ukraine division, like we had summer and winter. Seasons were almost unnoticeable, and now we have this like true spring with lots of rains and lots of flowers, and the temperature is like 12, 15, which is typical for Ukrainian May. If you celebrate Labor Day, congratulations, but in Ukraine we don't have like state holidays right now because of martial law. And also we associate very much Labor Day with Soviet Union because that was one of favorite Soviet holidays that substituted Easter and everything. That's why Ukrainians are not very much into it. Thank you so much for being my friends. Please forgive me if this vlog does not seem very serious to you, but that's the way life is, and vlogs have to be subjective sometimes. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons. Do subscribe to my Instagram and let's make 5,000 people on the page. If you want to buy our t-shirts, caps and other Ukrainian patriotic merch, go check our shop. All the links and descriptions are below this video. But most importantly, remember about Ukraine. Remember about these abnormalities that we have to go through daily, about awful Russian crimes, and about the fact that we still need to win. And I mean we, all of us. But thank you so much for being with me, with my channel, and with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!